Hello, leaders. Welcome to EKSAQ's podcast series, Educator-in-Residence. At EKSAQ, we believe in empowering leaders who have the onerous responsibility of shaping the youth for tomorrow. Schools today need transformational leadership more than ever. With declining reading habits, technology overload, change in learning styles, transformational leadership is very important today. Today, we have with us Mrs. Binita Punekar, who is an experienced educational leader and a retired principal of Army Public School, Pune, with rich and varied experience. Welcome, Mrs. Punekar.
Thank you.
Mrs. Punekar, my first question to you is, today with all these technology overload, what is the major challenge which the school heads are facing today?
Actually, I don't feel technology is a challenge if it is channelized in a proper manner. We are not saying that do away with teachers and only have technology because, I know of a particular country, I think Finland, they have reverted back to textbooks also. So, having a proper balance between technology and your classroom teaching done by teachers is the answer for the day. So, never think that technology is a threat. It is a tool which can be used wisely in education by the teachers.
See, this technology overload is affecting the reading habits of students.
Right.
So, how do you think leaders of today can address this issue? Because children don't want to read today.
You're right. Because, when I used to go to the library, my librarian used to show me the books. Every year we used to buy a number of books because, according to CBSE, it has to be 5 books per child.
That's true.
So the strength of my school was about 3,500. So, always getting those type of books was very difficult. And so when I went there, I used to find certain books were tattered, but most of the books were just not touched. So I asked the librarian, I said, what is the problem? He said, ma'am, children are not reading. So what we did was, first of all, we appointed a committee wherein there were children, there were parent reps, there were teacher reps for each class, beginning from 1st standard through 12th standard. And we asked them what their interests were, which authors they would like, what fictional, non-fictional books they would like. And every year, a team used to go and buy those books which the children had recommended. And after that, we ensured that the library was a place which was inviting to the students, like there was a digital platform over there also. We had a combination of e-books, we had a combination of audio books. Then we also had, I told them that don't just have books. We used to have Spello-fun, we used to have Scrabble. There were different corners made, so children could understand, their vocabulary improvement happened, and children started to look forward coming to the library. And I don't think it's a digital overload. Digital overload is when children are playing games or they're all the time on their mobile phones. That's not digital overload. So I think schools can manage this very well.
Okay, that's good to know. That's very optimistic. So I'm sure that school leaders will take it forward from here because optimism is what will set you going. Mrs. Punekar, just tell me, with students continuously engaged with the screen time, and they have a lot of screen time, how do you think we can, as school leaders, improve reading comprehension in students? I think this is a big challenge the school leaders face today.
Yeah, a challenge. This is the challenge of the 21st century.
Absolutely.
The children are so distracted. And what happened, unfortunately for us, the COVID again got the children addicted to their cell phones. Not only the teachers, but also the students. And that is why, everything was online, everything was digital. Children even forgot how to write. That's one disadvantage which took place. There are many advantages also. So, how do you develop or redevelop this among the students? I think the beginning should be from the very root, that is the primary level.
Absolutely.
The reading habit, we can't just suddenly say, okay, a 12th standard child, I'm going to start making him a avid reader or something like that. So you start gradually, a small step at a time. Start from class 1. Get the children involved in reading. Let them understand. Let them enact it in the class. Let them analyze it, in their own small way, like it could be a nursery rhyme. And a teacher also should be trained, there should be a pedagogical shift in the way a teacher addresses teaching learning process as far as reading and comprehension is concerned. I also feel that since English or Hindi may not be the first language of many of the students, don't give undue importance to intonation. You require to just understand whether the child can read and comprehend what he has read. So if you do this from class 1 and gradually take it up to class 12, I'm sure this will be a revolution, like the Green Revolution. It will be a book revolution, reading revolution. And I think, we should succeed in this endeavor.
As you say, I think there has to be a pedagogical shift in the teacher's mindset, and definitely teacher training does play a part here. But what happens is this reading comprehension is often related only with the languages. The other teachers do not pay attention to this reading and comprehension, whereas it's very much required in scientific subjects like mathematics and science. And in your experience, what have you done to make sure that this has become a school-wide culture, and what were your efforts in this direction?
In my school, we Army public schools are a mini India. So you have children from across the length and breadth of the country, same way with teachers. So we have to understand the demography of the school first. There's a demographical shift every year in our school,
That's true.
So what you require to do is you have to have a vision which has to be communicated very, very strongly to the teachers, to the parents, and to the children. And this vision should be having certain goals, and these goals I call as SMART goals. They should be simple, they should be manageable, they should be achievable, they should be relevant, and they should be time bound. So every teacher has to be given certain amount of time in which certain progress has to be noticed in the students' reading habits and the comprehension habits. This is what I did. I was very sure at the beginning of the year there was a particular thing which I used to stress on. Like 1 year it was reading and comprehension, and what we did was we started a mother and child program in class 1. What we realized that the mothers were not educated enough to take on the work of the children. So thrice a week we used to call the mothers and the children, and they used to sit, and the teacher used to explain to them the importance of reading, maybe anything. It may be English, it may be Hindi, it may be Sanskrit, it could be anything. But after this, a feedback was taken after every 15 days. And let me tell you, we found a dramatical change in the way the parents were approaching reading and the way children were getting enthused about that. And let me tell you, the primary children, their minds are so imaginative and creative. The joy of teaching primary classes and getting things done is not measurable.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
So I also feel that don't take primary classes as just a thing like take your book, go and teach and finish. No, the teachers here also require to be creative and imaginative as to how they can infuse the reading skills.
Yeah, I think here when we're talking about reading and comprehension, do you think community plays a role in improving the reading skills of students. I think I recently read an article about how in Bangalore there is a reading program which is motivated in the city called Kaban Reads, where I think anybody can go there and then they can read there in the Kaban Park, in the beautiful surroundings there. So can we instill some kind of a program here in our schools?
Yes, we can, where during our times, we only had authors which were British or American authors, and we were told to only read those books like Enid Blyton or Charles Dickens and all those. But fortunately now, in India, we have many Indian authors.
Yes.
So if you get in touch with some of them and tell them that you want to have a reading club and you want them as a resource for your club, many of them will come. We had this case where we had invited one author to our school, no names. He came to our school, and one child from class 7th or 8th got so motivated that she wrote her own book and it was published. And the first copy was given to me.
I do remember this. Yes, I do remember
So,
this. Yes. Yeah.
So that was the influence. It depends on you as a leader.
Yeah.
How you take the challenge and how you take it forward. That's what I feel.
Yeah, I think deep reading and comprehension being one part. And how does this affect the writing? I think writing is equally an important skill.
Right.
When you find a child speaking very fluently in the language, but he's not able to write it and put it across on paper. I mean, how do you think you can bridge this gap, and how can we improve this writing skills in students?
Right.
As a leader, what should one do?
So, as a leader, I feel that all work and no play makes Jill a dull girl. Okay. So if you always say that, okay, this is the syllabus and you have to do this, children get fed up. So, do something fun, do some fun activities, like, okay, tell the children you're going to have a drama and tell them to script it, tell them to write the dialogues, tell them to enact it, tell them to be creative in the way they are going to approach it. Like, there could be a comparer who would compare and write his own or her own speech. The drama people could write their own dialogues. And they could even enact a book or a small story like Shakespeare. There are so many stories in Shakespeare. Why, even Malgudi Days,
Yes.
which we know how the children love Malgudi Days. So let them enact it. And in this fun activity, you will find that the children develop these skills without their knowledge. And they will be able to analyze, and they will be able to synthesize, and they will be able to reproduce it in writing. So I feel this is one way.
Yeah. So here, I think there is definitely an improvement in language. As far as language is concerned, yes, I think it's a wonderful way in which you can do. But now what happens with they being digital and they being all over, they use all kinds of short forms, acronyms for writing even in the proper formal text. So what efforts school leaders can do to make sure that the writing is proper, the way it should be?
So can I tell you, for this also I have a solution. We had the Postmaster General in Pune, okay? So there used to be a postal week where the children were made to visit the post office. They were taken around of the jobs of that are done in the postmaster's office. Then we had a competition, Sometimes competition is also good, It infuses the children to write letters. So we gave them inland letters and we told them, okay, now you write a formal letter asking for permission for leave or asking permission for going for a marriage or just a informal letter to your parents. So, the difference between formal and informal was taught to them and the children really enjoyed it. And then we made a small red post box and children were told to post those letters over there. And after that, the best letters were read out in the school assembly because even a small success requires to be cheered.
Yes, absolutely.
You don't have to keep punishing students all the time, but for something good, you require to give them a pat on their backs.
I think the recognition of students here play a very important role.
Yeah.
So probably that will help them improve their reading skills as well as their writing skills and become better in whatever they do. So in your experience, I think reading and writing being one part, I think now we have taught them how to comprehend. I think how do you assess them is one part. With reading and writing, the children have learned it now. Are there any innovative strategies you used in your experience as a school leader to assess school children in reading and writing?
See, there are two types of assessments. One is a formal assessment, where you set a benchmark and you try to find out where the child is on that benchmark on a scale of 1 to 10. Because children are all over the place. The second is informal assessment, which the teachers can do in the classroom itself. Now, with the NPE, you're supposed to be doing that. So, the teachers can have a logbook in which, they can pick on a group of students every day or once a week. And they can check for the comprehension skills and for the understanding by asking leading questions. Just recalling from memory is not the answer. Who said to whom? When was the Battle of Plasseyform? Not required. Here, you ask such questions where the child requires to think, and then you decide how far the child has reached on the scale of 1 to 10 and grade the child. Another thing which you can do is peer assessment. Let the children question each other and let the peer assess the other child that how his colleague is doing. And this way you can combine both formal and informal and you can go ahead with your assessment plan.
In today's information-rich environment, the ability to comprehend texts has become more critical than ever. It helps individuals to navigate information and make informed decisions. In my opinion, reading comprehension is a bridge between knowledge and information and helps students to foster a love for learning which is far beyond the classrooms. To conclude, all I have to say is, reading comprehension is just not an educational goal, but it is an investment for human potential. It helps people become critical thinkers, effective communicators, and lifelong learners. Thank you for joining us today.